Welcome back to the channel. We're back with our Spider-Man Commander deck profile today with Flash Thompson, Spider-Fan. For 1 and a white, you get a 2/2 with Flash, because that's his name. And when Flash Thompson enters, choose one or both. You can either Heckle to tap target creature, or Hero Worship to untap target creature. So, we have a whole bunch of fun tap, untap abilities, ways to make sure we can tap our opponent's stuff, untap our stuff, so we can make sure we just keep going with the tap, untap abilities that we like to see. Overall, not a great commander, but could it be fun? I mean, in the right pod? I mean, like, if everyone's playing, like, low power, it could be fun. But let's get into it card by card. Starting us off, we have an Arcane Signet for a little bit of mana. Archaeomancer's map. We have quite a few ways to blink flash in order to make sure you guys enters ability quite a few times. So this does happen when it enters. If we also double this up, that will allow us even more planes, but helps us just ramp so that we can make sure we get our stuff better than our commander out sooner. Conjurer's Closet, a good way to blink flash in order to tap target creature, untap target creature. This way you have something to block with, giving yourself vigilance essentially, or making so you can make deals with your opponents so they'll attack with each other. Now someone has a tapped creature or an untapped creature. Dawnsire, Sunstar, Dreadnought. This card does work pretty well with, I forgot what their names are, Spacecraft. So because he'll tap, untap all those creatures that you're gonna be tapping for the station abilities. So Dawnsire, really good one for that in mono white, allowing us to deal 100 damage to target creature. Halo Fountain, another way to untap all of our stuff in order to get those tap abilities again. Untapping our creatures, drawing some cards, winning the game if we have 15 tapped creatures, which isn't going to happen too often, but we could. Hydra's Crown of Winter, in order to tap target creature. It costs a little bit less to cast when we do it during our own turn, but another way to tap our opponent's stuff, getting in their way just slightly, or helping our other opponents out in order so that they could swing in on that person. Lightning Grease to make sure Flash can is protected, or our other stuff really is what we're using this for, more so that they could use their tap abilities to turn they come down, so that then we could untap them with Flash. Lumen class frigate, 3/5 flying lifelink. Other creatures control get +1/+1. Just another good mono white spacecraft in order to make sure we're getting the most off of our taps and untaps. And then Manifold Key, another way to untap our creatures with this card. Yeah, also makes our stuff unblockable so we can actually do something. Mighty Servant, Leuko. Crewing is also a pretty good thing you could do with this deck here, allowing us to untap those creatures so that they can crew again or attack on their own. Oketcher's Monument, a little bit of cost reduction for our white spells, also getting us some more tokens, allowing us some more enters about abilities. Panharmonicon, a good way to double up Flash's ability so we could tap 2 creatures and untap 2 creatures rather than just doing one. Petrarius Seal, a way to tap or untap our legendary creatures. A lot of our stuff that we're tapping and untapping are legendary, so this could help us out quite a bit. Pearl Medallion for some cost reduction. Smuggler's Copter, just an overall good, what am I thinking of? Vehicle. That's what I'm looking for. That we could then later tap untap our creatures so they could also swing in. Soul Ring for some mana there. Springleaf Drum, another way to tap our creatures without having to use their tap abilities. Sting, the Glinting Dagger, another way to untap our stuff so we could use its tap abilities every turn, not just our own. Swiftfoot Boots, make sure our stuff can use their tap abilities the turn they come down. And the Eternity Elevator, potentially a way to get a lot of mana. Normally, you'll just get the Dree. Seriema, a good way to search out our stuff we actually want to be casting from our deck. Maybe like a Skrelv or a Sephara. And Dazzling Elixir, another way to tap our creatures to turn they come down and untap those creatures so we get those abilities again. On to our other creatures, we have Basri, Tomorrow's Champion. Cycling, when you cycle this card, cats you control gain hexproof and indestructible end turn, but the ability we're really going for is the 1-tap Exertum, get a cat token. And if we're able to untap him there with Flash's ability, it doesn't matter if he was exerted, because now we can do it again anyway. Dawn Strike Vanguard, at the beginning of your end step, if you control 2 or more tap creatures, which, if we Panharmonic on Flash, we'll definitely have that. or just with all of our tap abilities we will. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control other than this creature, giving us quite a stat boost so we could actually deal some damage. Deep Gnome Terramancer. Overall, just a good ability to blink in there or double up with the enters abilities that we're getting there with Flash. Yeah, just getting the mana that we need to cast more stuff. Drum Bellower, untap all creatures you control during each other player's untap step, allow us to get all these tap untap abilities every turn rather than just our own. Enduring Innocence, Flash is, sometimes a nice guy, right? So maybe he's just like the Enduring Innocence of the show. But this does allow us a little bit of draw power there. Esper Sentinel doesn't have really much to do with the deck, just a little bit of draw power is nice. Flicker Wisp, another way to blink Flash in order to make sure we get the ability again. Hokery, Dust Drinker, lands don't untap during their controller's untap steps, and at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player untaps the land he or she controls. Yeah, this helps us out, making it so that we could deny our opponents some lands, at least turn and come down. Knight of White Orchid, another creature we could blink in order to get more mana. Lita, Mechanical Engineer. Beginning of your end step, untap each other artifact creature you control. We don't have that many. The ones we do have, does come in handy getting them untapped, so get their tap abilities again. Lore into the Third Path, good enters ability, and a good tap ability. Both are things we want to see for this deck, allowing us to draw cards so we could actually do something. Masako the Humorless. You may play Masako anytime you play an instant, aka she's Flash. Tapped creatures you control may block as though they were untapped, allowing us that, ability we want to see so that we could tap them, get their ability, and still block. Mentor the Meek, in order to get some draw power. Mother of Runes, really good tap ability that we want to see during every turn, so we keep giving ourselves slight hexproof, you'd call it, I guess. Ornithopter of Paradise, another creature with good tap ability, allowing us getting some more mana. Safara, Sky's Blade. Cascade, also, this doesn't have Cascade. May pay white and tap 4 untapped creatures you control. Rampage else mana cost. It basically has not Cascade. What am I thinking of? What's one? Convoke, that's the word. Flying, lifelink, other creatures you control with flying have indestructible. So it's just the ability to tap our creatures in order to get this out super cheap, super early. Helps us out. Scroll of Defector Mate. Something that taps in order to give ourselves protection. Same as Mother of Runes, but also gives a toxic, in order to make sure we can deal some damage. Spider-Man, Web Slinger. The Web Slinging ability is helpful in this deck because it works with tapped creatures. So we tap a creature with Flash's ability, bounce it back to the hand, get Spider-Man instead. He is a Spider-Man superfan. Weathered Wayfarer, another way gets more lands, another tap ability. Oh no, search library for a land. Okay, I just had something else for a second. And then Yes Man, Personal Securitron. A way to make sure we could untap this with Flash in order to make sure we could do that during every player's turn, rather than just the once each turn. So he gets around the table a little bit faster too. Enchantments, we have Authority Consoles, making so our opponent's stuff enters tapped so that we can have our stuff untapped and we control the board a little bit better. Dazzling Theater and Prop Room, making so our stuff untaps every turn, so we keep getting those tap-untap abilities. Far Traveler, another blink spell, allowing us to blink Flash, having come back to the battlefield. Rent is due. Being end step, this is a really good not draw power spell. You're gonna get some treasure tokens off this spell, draws power off that as well. Smuggler's Share, some more draw power, some more treasure tokens. We like to see both of those. Solitary Sanctuary, whenever you tap an untapped creature, which I don't know when we're going to be doing that. An opponent controls, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, allow us to actually be able to swing in for some damage. And then Takeshia's Welcome for a little bit of draw power. For our instance, we have Blacksmith Skill for target permanent gains hexproof indestructible on turn. If it's an artifact creature, it gets +2/+2 instead. We don't care about the artifact creature bit, but having a hexproof indestructible is helpful for Flash there. Clever Concealment, another way to protect our creatures that we want on the battlefield. Maybe our Yes Man, maybe our Ornithopter, Mentor to Me, Knight of White Orchid, something like that. Dawn's Truce for more protection. Jera's Resolve, untap target creature, prevent all damage that will be dealt this turn. We have plenty of untapped creatures. I think we'll have a way to fog, at least for one turn. Flawless Maneuver, so there's some more protection. Generous Gift for some more removal. Parting Gust for another blink spell. Path to Exile for more removal. What's it say? Prismatic Strands, prevent all damage sources of the color of your choice that would deal this turn. And you tap 5 untapped white creatures you control to flash this back. Gives a way to tap our creatures and fog again. Rustler Rampage, untap all creatures target player controls, or target creature gains double strike. Both these could be helpful abilities, making so we could swing in for some damage, or untap our stuff so we get those abilities again. Swords to Plowshares, more removal, and Unbreakable Formation for more protection. War Room allows us some draw power. Rogue's Passage, it's Rogue's Passage. Plains, Mina's Truth, a little bit more draw power. Emeria, Sky Ruin, Recursion of a Creature, Daily Bugle Building. It's Spider-Man. And then we have a board wipe, Austere Command, and Split Up. Split Up are really good for this deck, allowing us to destroy all of our opponent's stuff, and we control what's tapped and what's untapped, and cut a deal for a little bit more draw power there. But overall, could be a fun commander. Still in the early stages of development for this deck, but hope you guys enjoyed the video, and hope you have a great rest of the day. Thanks so much for watching.